My beloved child, come and be with me for a moment. I see you. I see how you wake each morning. And before your eyes are even fully open, the immense weight of your yesterday settles upon you like a heavy, damp shroud. You look at the blank page of the new day ahead, and you do not see a space for a new possibility, a canvas for new color. You see only a continuation of the same old, painful, and wearying story. Your past has become a relentless and haunting ghost, a specter that follows you through every room of your present and whispers its terrifying predictions about your future. The world around you, in its well-meaning but often cruel simplicity, has reinforced this imprisonment. They look at you, but they don't see you. They see you through the dark and distorting lens of your history. They remember your great failure, your public mistake, your season of profound weakness. And so they treat you as if you are still that person. They interact with the ghost of who you were, not with the living, breathing soul standing before them now. In their minds, they have sentenced you to a life defined by your worst moments. And their judgment has become another brick in the wall of your own prison. But the deepest tragedy, the one that grieves my heart the most, is that in the quiet, lonely courtroom of your own mind, you have accepted their verdict. You have become your own jailer. You constantly replay the tapes of your past mistakes. You stare at the ruins of your former life, and you have concluded that they are right, that this ruin is the sum total of who you are. You have allowed your past to define your present and to dictate the terms of your future. You feel utterly and completely trapped in a story you no longer want to be in, playing a character you no longer want to play. You are living in the cold, dark, and solitary confinement of the prison of your yesterday. But I have come to you today as your great liberator. I am the one who holds the keys to every prison door, the one who speaks a word and makes the chains fall away. I have come to announce to you today a great and glorious jailbreak. I have come to tell you, with all the authority of heaven, that your past does not have the final say. You have been living as though you are serving a life sentence. But I tell you, that chapter of your life is over, and the sentence has been commuted. You feel you are hopelessly trapped in yesterday, but I am the great I am, the God of the eternal now, and I have come to proclaim a new truth over you, a truth that begins in this very moment. The new beginning starts now. Before you can step into the freedom of this new beginning, we must first, with great tenderness and honesty, walk through the halls of the prison you have been living in. I must show you that I understand its every detail. The very cell in which you have been living is a cell of regret. Its walls are built from the hard, cold stones of your past mistakes. At night, when the world is quiet, your mind becomes a cruel cinema, endlessly replaying the scenes of your greatest failures. The ghosts of what if and if only are your constant, tormenting cellmates. What if I had only made a different choice? If only I had known then what I know now. If only I hadn't said that word or taken that action. This endless, exhausting cycle of regret keeps your gaze firmly fixed on the past, a past you cannot change. And it prevents you from ever truly inhabiting the grace of your present or conceiving a hope for your future. And in this cell, You have been bound by the heavy, cold chains of shame. Regret is the voice that says, I did something bad. But shame, its cruel and more powerful twin, is the voice that whispers, I am bad. The shame from your past failures has seeped into your very identity. It is a chain that you have dragged around for so long. You have forgotten what it feels like to be without its weight. You walk through your days feeling fundamentally flawed, dirty, broken, and unworthy. You interpret every new interaction through the lens of the shame, assuming that others can see your inner flaws as clearly as you do. These chains are heavy. They have restricted your movement. They have kept you from taking new risks, from entering into deep and authentic relationships, and from receiving my love, all for the fear that your deep unworthiness will be exposed. The guards of this prison have been the traumas of your past. They are vigilant, and they are cruel. They patrol the corridors of your mind day and night, ensuring that you never even attempt to escape. Every time a new idea, a new spark of hope, a new possibility flickers in your heart, the guard of your past failure immediately steps forward, blocking the path, and says with a sneer, and how did that work out for you last time? Don't even think about it. Stay where you are safe. Every time you have a desire to trust someone new, to open your heart again, the guard of your past betrayal materializes with its weapon drawn and says, Are you a fool? Have you learned nothing? You know how this story ends. These guards have been brutally effective. They have successfully kept you locked inside the familiar, predictable pain of your history, convincing you that the misery of your prison is safer than the unknown dangers of freedom. And what has been your sentence in this prison? It has been to live out your days under a false identity. You have accepted the names that your past has given you: failure, unworthy, broken, abandoned, fool. You have worn these names like a dirty, tattered prison uniform. You have worn them for so long that you have forgotten they are not you. You have forgotten the true name I gave you at your creation, the name I have been whispering over your soul, even in your darkest moments, beloved. The greatest tragedy of this prison is that it has convinced you that the prison uniform is your actual skin. It has convinced you that the name on your prison cell is your true name. But I have come to you today with a key that opens any lock. I have come with a divine pardon, signed and sealed with the blood of my own Son. And I have come to tell you that you have profoundly misunderstood the nature of your past. You have been living in your past as if it were your house. But I declare to you today that your past is not a house in which you must live. It is a book that has now been finished. And it is time to close that book and place it on the shelf. You see your past as a life sentence that defines your future. But I see your past as a completed education. You have learned the painful but necessary lessons that your trials had to teach. You see your past as a permanent stain on your soul, but I see it as a story of my grace, a story whose every stain has already been washed clean by the blood of the Lamb. You see your past as a source of your endless shame, but I see it as the very source of your new and profound compassion for other suffering souls. You see your past as a prison, but I see it as the powerful, solid launching pad for your new beginning. So hear the sound of the key turning in the lock. Hear the sound of the heavy chains as they fall from your wrists and ankles to the stone floor. See the old, dusty storybook of your past being gently closed and placed on a high shelf in the great library of things that are finished and done. Do not stay in the cell out of a misplaced sense of familiarity or fear. Do not keep trying to reread the painful chapters that I have already declared over. I am standing at the open door of your prison, and I am calling you by your true name. I am calling you to step out of the prison of your yesterday and into the glorious, sunlit freedom of your today. For I am a God who does not just free you from something. I am a God who frees you to something. And now that we have acknowledged the prison of your past, we must speak of my divine and creative power to make all things new. You have stepped, with a trembling but willing heart, out of the cold, dark prison of your yesterday. The door has swung shut behind you, and I have turned to the key. You are standing now in the strange, unfamiliar light of a new moment. But I, who know the deepest fears of the human soul, know the question that now rises within you. It is a question born of long experience and deep-seated insecurity. What now? Even if I am free from the past, I am still me. I am still the same, flawed, weak, and broken person who created that past. How can my future possibly be any different? Will I not simply build a new prison for myself with the same old materials? This is the great and honest question of every soul that has ever longed for a fresh start. And the answer to it lies not in your own ability to change, but in my divine and glorious ability to create. You must now come to know me not just as your Redeemer, who has paid for your past, but as your Creator, who is now authoring your future. You have been living under the logical but soul-crushing law of cause and effect, believing that your future can be nothing more than the inevitable result of your past. But I am the God of new beginnings. You live in a world that is governed by the laws of physics and the linear progression of history. You believe that what has been done cannot be undone. You see your past as a series of concrete and unchangeable events that have set a permanent and unalterable trajectory for your life. To you, the very idea of a truly new beginning feels like a violation of the laws of reality itself. It feels impossible. But, my child, you are trying to understand my power through the very limited lens of your world's reality. I am the God who stands outside of those laws. I am the one who, in the beginning, stood before a formless, empty void and spoke into it, creating light where there was only darkness. I am the God who creates ex nihilo out of nothing. And if I can create a vast and glorious universe from nothing, I can most certainly create a new and beautiful beginning for you from the wreckage of your past. My creative power is not bound by your history. My power is not bound by your past. The new beginning I have for you is not just me giving you a second chance with your old, broken self. It is something far more radical, far more profound. First, you must understand that I'm creating a new heart within you. The new beginning is not a matter of you trying harder with your old, faulty equipment. It is me, by my Spirit, performing a divine heart transplant. My son spoke of this as being born again, and it's just at a second birth, a new genesis for your spirit. I am not simply remodeling the old, broken house of your soul, patching the wall and painting over the stains. I am, by my grace, demolishing the old structure completely. And I'm building an entirely new creation on a new and holy foundation. The you that is stepping into this new beginning is not the same you that was trapped in the prison of the past. At the very core of your being, in your spirit, you are a fundamentally new creation. The old things, the old shame, the old identity, the old bondage have passed away. Behold, all things have become new. Next, you must understand that I'm creating a new path for you. You look at the circumstances before you, and you may see no way forward. You see the Red Sea of your impossible situation stretched out before you, an impassable barrier, and you can hear, behind you, the thundering chariots of your past failures, your old fears, and your old habits pursuing you, threatening to drive you into the sea and destroy you. You see no path. You see no hope of escape. But I am the same God who made a way for my children through the Red Sea. I am the God who makes a way where there is no way. I am, at this very moment, creating a new path for you, a path that did not exist a moment ago. This path is not based on your past trajectory. It is not a continuation of your old road. It is a supernatural highway of my grace, and it will lead you to a place of safety, of promise, and of purpose that you could never have reached on your own. You must stop looking at the impassable sea before you and start looking for the new path that I am now opening. Furthermore, you must understand that I am speaking a new and creative word over you. My very words are not just descriptive, they are creative. They carry within them the power to bring into being the very things that they speak of. When I spoke, "Let there be light," light came into existence. For years, the accuser, and you yourself, have been speaking words of condemnation, of failure, and of hopelessness over your life. And those words have had a powerful, negative, creative effect on your soul, reinforcing the walls of your prison. But now, I am speaking a new word over you. I am speaking whole over your brokenness. I am speaking peace over your anxiety. I am speaking righteous over your shame. I am speaking beloved over your feeling of rejection. I am speaking hope over your despair. My spoken word over you, the very words you are reading now, is more powerful than all the accumulated facts of your past. My word is a divine and creative force that is, at this very moment, reshaping your inner and your outer reality to align with my truth. And finally, you must know that I'm bringing forth resurrection life from the places of your death. The greatest proof in all of history of my power to create new beginnings is the resurrection of my own Son. He entered the ultimate prison of death. He descended into the ultimate past, the final end from which there is no natural escape. And I, through the unimaginable power of my spirit, shattered the gates of death, rolled away the stone of impossibility, and brought him forth into a new, glorious, and unending resurrection life. My child, that very same resurrection power is now at work in you. It is the power to go into the graveyards of your past and to bring forth life. It is the power to take the deadest parts of your life, your dead dreams, your dead hopes, your dead relationships, and to breathe my life into them, bringing them forth into a new and glorious resurrected form. The new beginning I have for you is not just a fresh start. It is a resurrection. It is me taking that which was dead and making it alive again for my own glory. For all these years, You have been trying to believe in your own ability to change, in your own strength to create a better life. And you have, rightly, found yourself wanting. I am now calling you to a great and liberating shift. You must stop believing in yourself, and you must start believing in me. Your hope for a new beginning does not rest in your power to sustain it. Your hope rests entirely in my infinite power to create it for you and to sustain you in it. You are not the source of your new beginning. I am. The creation of your new beginning is not a future possibility that you must strive toward. It is a present and active work of my Spirit in your life. Even now, as you receive these words into your heart, I am speaking new realities into being in your spirit. I am laying the foundations of a new path before you. I am breathing a resurrection life into your dead places. The old has gone. Behold, I am making all things new, and my creative work, once it has begun, cannot be stopped by your past, by your enemy, or even by your own doubt. The new beginning starts now. You now understand the glorious truth of my creative power. You know that I am the God of new beginnings, the one who is not bound by your past, the one who can create a new heart and a new path for you out of nothing. But for this new beginning to truly take root in your life, for you to be able to walk freely into the new story I am writing, there's a necessary and profound spiritual act that you must now perform in partnership with me. The new chapter cannot truly begin until the old chapter has been definitively and intentionally closed. You cannot walk with confidence into your future while you are still dragging the heavy, tattered volume of your past behind you. We must now, together, perform the sacred, solemn, and liberating act of closing the old chapter for good. I know that this is a difficult, and perhaps even a frightening, thing to do. Your past, as painful and as shameful as it has been, is familiar. It is known, the story of your struggle, your failure, and your survival has become your identity. And to let go of that identity, even a painful one, can feel like a kind of death. There's a strange and morbid comfort in constantly rereading the painful chapters of your past, for at least you know how they end. The terrifying, beautiful, and unknown potential of a blank page can feel more dangerous than the familiar pain of the past you have already endured. You have defined yourself by your struggle for so long that you may not know who you are without it. But my child, your past is not your identity. It is not a house you must live in for the rest of your days. It is a story that has been written. It is a book that has been read. And it is a chapter that has now reached its divinely orchestrated conclusion. Its purpose is complete. And I am now calling you to the holy and necessary act of letting go of who you used to be. This is how we close the book. This is not an act of denial or suppression. We will not pretend your past did not happen. No, we will do something far more powerful. We will honor it. We will redeem its lessons. And then we will release it. This is a 4-part process, and I will walk through it with you. First, before you can close the book, you must honor the lessons it has taught you. We will look back at your past together, one last time, but not with the old eyes of shame and regret. We will look at it with the new eyes of wisdom and grace. We will, together, extract the priceless, golden treasures that were forged in the very fires of your greatest trials. Look back at that chapter of your great failure. Let us honor the profound and unbreakable humility that it forged in your soul. That humility is a precious jewel, and you could have acquired it in no other way. Look back at that long, agonizing chapter of waiting. Let us honor the incredible endurance and patience that it wove into the very fabric of your character. Those are mighty spiritual muscles that you now possess. Look back at the chapter of your deepest heartbreak and betrayal. Let us honor the stunning, beautiful compassion and empathy for other suffering souls that was born in that pain. Look back at your entire journey, and let us honor the greatest lesson of all the deep, unshakable, experiential knowledge of your own weakness and your desperate, absolute dependence on me. These lessons, humility, endurance, compassion, and dependence are the treasures you are taking with you from the old, barren land into your new, promised land. We now look back on that old chapter, and with a grateful heart, we say, thank you for the lessons you have taught me. Second, now that we have extracted the treasures, we must leave the pain behind. And this requires a conscious and courageous act of radical forgiveness. This forgiveness must flow in three directions. First, you must forgive every other character in that old story who wounded you. The person who betrayed you, the one who abandoned you, the one who misunderstood you, the one who spoke harsh words against you, as an act of your will. In the authority I have given you, you must choose to release them from the debt they owe you. You must cancel their debt, not because they deserve it, but because your own freedom requires it. You must hand them, and the justice they deserve, over to me. Next, and this is often the most difficult, you must forgive the protagonist of that old story yourself. You must forgive your past self for their foolishness, for their weakness, for their immaturity, for their mistakes. You have held your past self in a prison of your own judgment for so long, but I have already forgiven that person completely, and I am now asking you to align yourself with my verdict of grace. You must look back at that younger, more broken version of yourself with the same compassion and tenderness that I have always had for you. And you must say to them, I forgive you. And finally, you must fully and completely receive my forgiveness. You must accept as a foundational fact that the blood of the Lamb has washed every page of that old book clean. There's no stain that remains. There's no sin that is unforgiven. You are, in my sight, completely and gloriously cleansed. Third, now that the lessons have been honored and the forgiveness has been released, it is time for the great symbolic act. It is time to close the cover. I want you to do this in your imagination right now. See the book of your old life lying open before you. See its tattered cover, its tear-stained pages, its chapters of pain and failure. Acknowledge it all one last time. And now, with me standing beside you, with my hand on yours, I want you to, by a conscious act of your will, gently but firmly reach out and close the cover on that book. Hear the quiet, final, satisfying thud as the cover meets the pages. Feel the finality of it. That story is over. It is done. Fourth, we'll now place the book on the shelf of finished things. Now that the book is closed, we will take it, and we will walk together into the great, infinite library of heaven. We will walk past the volumes of the deeds of kings and the chronicles of angels, and we will come to a special, sacred section. This section is reserved for the completed stories of my redeemed children, and together, you and I will place this book of your former life on the shelf. It is not being destroyed. Its redeemed lessons and its testament to my grace are preserved forever as a source of my glory. But it is no longer the book you are living in. It now takes its honored place among the other finished works. You are now free. Your hands are now empty, ready to receive a new book. A book with a new and glorious title. A book whose pages are clean, white, and empty, waiting for a new story to be written. This, my child, is your great spiritual discipline for your new beginning. The accuser, your old jailer, will try to tempt you to return to this library. He will try to convince you to pull that old, familiar volume off the shelf and to once again reread the painful chapters of your past. He will try to lure you back into the prison of regret and shame. And you must, with your new authority, refuse him when he tempts you. You must say to him, I don't live in that story anymore. That book has been closed and shelved in heaven by the hand of God himself. I am living in a new book now, and my Father is its glorious author. You must train your mind, your heart, and your spirit to stay out of the library of your past. The old chapter is now closed. The old book is on the shelf. And before you now lies the most beautiful and hopeful thing in all the universe, a blank page. It is the page of today. It is not stained by yesterday. It is not dictated by yesterday. It is a clean slate. It is a new beginning. And I, the author of your faith, am now picking up the pen, dipping it in the golden ink of my grace. And we are about to write a beautiful first sentence together, the book of your old life, with all its tear-stained pages and its sorrowful ending, is now closed in the great, silent library of heaven. It has been placed upon a high shelf and reserved for stories that are finished and complete. This is a glorious and settled truth in the spiritual realm. But I, who know the pathways of the human mind and the tenacious nature of your adversary, know that this is not always enough, for the accuser is a relentless trespasser. He is a master of breaking into the archives of your memory and pulling that old, dusty volume back off the shelf, forcing you to reread the chapters you would rather forget. So today, we must do more than just spiritually and metaphorically close the book. We must establish a new, permanent, and divinely enforced boundary, a spiritual frontier that the enemy and your old self will never be allowed to cross again. We must now, together, walk to the vast and timeless shores of eternity, and, with my own authority, we must draw a line in the sand. For so long, there has been no clear boundary in your soul between your past and your present. They have bled into one another, creating a murky, gray, and sorrowful existence. The ghosts of your yesterday have walked freely and unhindered into the sunlit rooms of your today. The shame of a mistake you made a decade ago has shown up, uninvited, to ruin a present moment of joy. The fear from a trauma you endured in your youth has risen up like a phantom to sabotage a new and hopeful opportunity. Your inner life has been like a land with no fences, no borders, and no immigration control. A land where the dark armies of your past have had free and unlimited reign to roam, to plunder, and to torment you. But I am a God of holy order. I am a God of beautiful boundaries. I am a God of sacred and divine distinctions. In the very beginning of all things, my first creative act was to draw a line. I separated the light from the darkness. I separated the waters above from the waters below. I separated the sea from the dry land. And I'm here today to perform a similar, powerful, and definitive act of creation in your life with the golden staff of my divine authority, the staff with which I shepherd the cosmos. I'm now reaching down, and I'm drawing a deep, wide, and permanent line in the sands of time. On one side of this line lies your entire past, with all its sin, all its failure, all its shame, and all its pain. And on the other side of this line lies your present and your glorious future, filled with my unending grace, my boundless mercy, and your new beginning. This, my child, is the sacred boundary between then and now. You must understand the nature and the power of this divine boundary line. This is not a line drawn with an ordinary stick, a line that the next wave of trouble can simply wash away. This sacred boundary line has been carved deep into the bedrock of eternity, and it has been filled from end to end with the precious, the powerful, the holy, and the eternal blood of my Son, the Lamb. It is the blood that gives this line its absolute and unbreachable power. It is a spiritual firewall that no demonic force can cross. It is a divine, no trespassing sign, written in the language of heaven, directed at your old adversary and all his legions. The ancient Israelites, on the night of their great liberation, were instructed to place the blood of a lamb on their doorposts. And when the angel of death passed through the land, he saw the blood, and he was forced to pass over that house. In the same way, this line of blood drawn around your new life is a sign to all the forces of hell. When they approach you to torment you with your past, they will see the blood, and they must, by divine law, pass over. This line of blood also legally and eternally separates you from your past sin, the accuser's primary weapon. His entire strategy against you is to try and connect your present self with the sins of your past self. He wants to constantly remind you of who you were, so that you will never have the confidence to become who you are now meant to be. But this sacred boundary line legally and permanently severs that connection. When he now comes before my throne to accuse you, pointing to a sin you committed on the other side of the line, I, the righteous judge, will simply point to the line of blood, and I will say to him, the person who committed that sin is on that side of the line, and their sin has been paid for in full. This person here, on this side of the line, is a new creation, washed in the blood, and clothed in the perfect righteousness of my Son. You have no legal case here. Your jurisdiction ends at the bloodline. The line in the sand is a legal and eternal declaration of your new identity. And it's not just the accuser who is forbidden to cross this line. It is your old self, the old, fearful, shame-filled, defeated, and unbelieving version of you, the protagonist of that old, sad story, is not permitted to cross over into your new beginning. But my child, you must learn to enforce this boundary against your own old thoughts, your old feelings, and your old habits. This will be your new spiritual discipline. When an old feeling of unworthiness, born from a memory of your past, tries to cross the line and enter your present moment, you must learn to stand at the boundary line of your mind. You must point to the blood of Jesus, and you must say with your new authority, "No, you are not welcome here. You have no passport to this new land. You belong to the old chapter, the book that is closed. I am now living in a new story, and there's no room for you here." This sacred boundary line will also change your perspective. It is not just a defensive barrier, it is a new vantage point. You are no longer to look back at your past with the old eyes of shame and regret. You are now to look at it from this side of the line, from the safety of your new beginning, and through the beautiful, redemptive lens of the cross. From this new vantage point, you will be able to see your past not as a source of your condemnation, but as the very story that has magnified the greatness of my grace. You will be able to look back at the deepest, darkest moments of your old life and see with new clarity that my hand was there all along. And you'll find yourself filled not with shame, but with an overwhelming gratitude for the journey, for it has led you to this glorious and grace-filled new beginning. My beloved, I have drawn the line. It is a finished work. It is an established, heavenly reality. Your part now is to choose which side of the line you will live on. Will you continue to mentally and emotionally dwell in the old land of your past, replaying its sorrows, reliving its failures, and allowing its ghosts to haunt you? Or will you, by a conscious and deliberate act of faith, step fully and completely across the threshold onto the now side of the line and begin to build your new life in the land of your new beginning? You must choose to inhabit your new location. And know this line is not temporary. It is not drawn in the shifting sands of your own efforts. It has been carved into eternity. It will never be washed away by the tides of time. It will never be erased by your future stumbles. It is an eternal boundary, established in the heavens and filled with the unconquerable power of an eternal sacrifice. Your past is now a foreign country, a place you have visited, a place where you have learned many hard lessons, but it is a place where you no longer live. Your new beginning is your true homeland. The boundary is set. The separation is complete. The old has passed away. The old book of your past life, with all its sorrowful and shameful chapters, is now closed. It has been placed on the high shelf in the library of heaven, in the section reserved for stories that are finished and complete. The sacred, the crimson boundary line, drawn with the very blood of the Lamb, now stands as an eternal and unbreachable barrier between your yesterday and your today. The prison door has been swung open. The chains of shame have been shattered. You have stepped out of the darkness of your past and are now standing at a holy and profound threshold. But I, who know the hesitations of the human heart, know the question that still lingers in your soul. It is the question, when does this new beginning truly start? Must I first become stronger? Must I first feel completely ready? Must I first achieve some new level of holiness or emotional stability before I am worthy to begin again? You have been waiting for a feeling to tell you that you are ready. You have been waiting for a dramatic sign from the heavens. You have been waiting for your outward circumstances to perfectly align. But I have come to you today to shatter your concept of waiting and readiness with a thunderclap of my sovereign grace. Your new beginning is not dependent on your feelings. It is not dependent on your circumstances. It is not even dependent on your own perceived readiness. Your new beginning is dependent only on one thing: my divine, authoritative, and creative word. Therefore, listen with the ears of your spirit. Let all of heaven bear witness, and let all the forces of hell tremble at this declaration. Cease your anxious striving. Cease your weary waiting for a better version of yourself to arrive. For I, your God, the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, declare to you in this very moment, as you receive these words into your heart, the new beginning starts now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not after you have prayed more, or fasted more, or have finally overcome that persistent weakness. Not when you feel better, not when your circumstances improve. Now, in this very instant, in the midst of your imperfection, in the midst of your weakness, in the midst of your doubt, a new reality has been sovereignly and powerfully inaugurated in your life. This is a divine interruption of your old story. For years, you have been stuck in a cyclical and destructive pattern, a deep and sorrowful groove that has been carved into your soul by the repeated pains and failures of your past. You have felt doomed to repeat this pattern forever. But my declaration of now is a divine interruption of that pattern. It is my loving and powerful hand reaching down from heaven and lifting the needle of your life out of that old, scratched, and repeating groove. And I am now placing that needle on a brand new and unplayed track on the record of your life. A track that plays the beautiful, hopeful, and triumphant music of my grace and my victory. The old, sorrowful pattern is broken, not by your own willpower, but by my divine and gracious intervention. It is broken now. I know that your feelings have not yet caught up to this new reality. You may not feel like a new beginning has started. You may, in this very moment, still feel the heavy residue of yesterday's sorrow. You may still feel the familiar echo of yesterday's fear. Do not be troubled or discouraged by this. Your feelings are like the caboose on a great and mighty train. They are the last part to move. My declaration of truth is the powerful engine at the front of the train. I have already engaged the engine, and the train of your life has already begun to move in a new direction. The caboose of your feelings will, in time, catch up, but you must not allow your lagging feelings to veto my present tense declaration. You must choose to believe my truth over your feeling. The fact stands. Whether you feel it yet or not, the new beginning starts now. I know also that you may look at your outward circumstances and see no immediate change. The mountain of your problem may still be standing before you. The bank account may still be empty. The relationship may still be broken. And you may be tempted to look at this lack of outward change and say, nothing has happened, nothing is different. But you're looking with your natural eyes at the old, fading reality. I have, in this moment, initiated a new spiritual reality. And this new spiritual reality will now begin to work its way out into your visible, natural world. Think of it this way. I have just planted a new and mighty seed in the garden of your life. Now, you cannot yet see the tree, but the seed, all its life and potential is in the ground. I have just consecrated the foundation for your new life. Now, you cannot yet see the glorious tower, but the foundation is now holy and secure. The river of my spirit has begun to flow from my throne toward you. Now, you may not yet feel the flood, but the waters have been released. You must not judge the power of my new beginning by the appearance of your old circumstances. You must judge your old circumstances by the power of my new beginning. And I know that you feel you are not ready. You feel you are not holy enough, not strong enough, not wise enough to handle a new beginning. And in your own strength, you are absolutely right. You are not ready, but you do not have to be. I am not calling the equipped. I am equipping the called. My gift of a new beginning is not a reward that I give you once you have made yourself ready. It is a free and powerful gift of my grace that makes you ready. Your new beginning does not start when you are perfect. It starts now. And it is the very process of living out this new beginning with me that will lead you into the wholeness and the maturity that I have for you. Do not wait to be ready. Simply receive the new beginning and allow it to make you ready. This very moment, the sacred moment in which you are reading these words and your heart is being stirred, is a holy and pivotal moment in your life's history. It is a portal. It is a divine doorway, standing open before you, leading you out of the land of your past and into the land of your future. And you must, by a conscious act of your faith, choose to step through it. You must lift your voice from a place of weariness to a place of belief. You must say, Amen to my declaration. You must say, with all the faith you can muster, yes, Lord, I receive it. I believe that right here, right now, in the midst of my mess, in the midst of my weakness, in the midst of my unworthiness, my new beginning starts. I receive this incredible gift of a clean slate. The past is now a foreign country with a sealed border. The future is a land of promise waiting to be explored. But the only place where you can truly live, and the only place where my power can truly operate, is in the sacred space of now. And I have, by my sovereign decree, filled this very moment with all the power, all the grace, all the potential, and all the hope of a brand new creation. The old things have passed away. The new has come. Welcome, my beloved child, to the very first moment of the rest of your life. It starts now. The divine interruption has occurred. The sacred boundary has been drawn. The old chapter has been closed by a sovereign act of my grace. Your new beginning has started now, but this is more than just a change in your spiritual timeline or your outward circumstances. It is something far more profound, far more fundamental. A new beginning requires a new identity. You cannot possibly walk into the new story I am writing for you while still clinging to the old, tattered identity of your past. We must now speak of the glorious, new identity, the new name that has been bestowed upon you in this very moment. For years, my child, you have known yourself by the names that the world, your past, and your own wounded heart have given you. You have answered to the name failure. You have responded to the name broken. You have worn the names forgotten, abandoned, and unworthy like a heavy, scratchy, and ill-fitting garment. These have been more than just painful labels. They have become the very core of how you see yourself. You have worn these names of shame for so long that you have forgotten they are not your true names. They are fraudulent names, given to you by your enemy and your experience. But they are not the name that I, your Father, call you. And the thought of being someone else, of answering to a new name, may feel strange and impossible to you. But in my kingdom, a name is not just a label used for identification. A name is a declaration of essence, of nature, of character, and of destiny. When I give something a new name, I am declaring a new reality over it. And as the central act of your new beginning, I am, by my divine authority, stripping you of all your old, sorrowful, and fraudulent names. I am declaring them null and void, and in their place. I am giving you a new name, a name that is written in the Lamb's book of life, a name that reflects your true, eternal, and blood-bought reality. For you are a new creation in me, and a new creation requires a new and glorious name. So listen now, as I speak your true name over you. The world looked at your past, at your mistakes, at your failed attempts, and it called you failure. And you have worn this name with great shame. But I now take that name from you, and I cast it into the sea of my forgetfulness. And in its place, I give you this new name you are redeemed. To be redeemed means that I have taken every single one of your failures, every mistake, every foolish decision, every wrong turn, and by the power of the cross, I have purchased them back. I have paid their price in full. And not only have I paid for them, but I have, as the master artist, begun the glorious work of weaving them into the beautiful tapestry of your testimony. Your past failures are no longer a source of your shame. They have now become the very evidence of my redeeming power and my extravagant grace. To be called redeemed means that your past failures no longer have the primary voice in defining who you are. My grace does. That is your new name. You have looked at your history of broken relationships. You have felt the sting of rejection, and you have called yourself abandoned, or unloved, or forgotten. You have believed that you are fundamentally unwanted, but I now strip that painful name from you, and I give you my own personal, favorite name for you. I call you beloved. This is not a name that you have earned by being lovely. It is a name that is bestowed upon you because of the very nature of my heart. It is a statement of your unchangeable status as the object of my unending, unceasing, passionate, and unconditional affection. My delight is in you. My thoughts toward you are more numerous than the grains of sand on the seashore. To be called beloved means that your worth is no longer determined by who wants you on this earth, but by the glorious and settled fact that you are eternally and passionately wanted by the King of all heaven. You have been intimately familiar with your own inner brokenness. You have felt the fragmentation of your own soul. You have carried the name broken like a diagnosis of a terminal illness. But today, the verdict over you is changed. Your new name is new creation. This is the great, central truth of your new beginning. My word declares it with an absolute finality if anyone is in my Son. They are a new creation. The old has gone. The new has come. This is not a future promise of something I will one day do. It is a present tense declaration of something that has already been done. At the very core of your being, in your eternal spirit, you are not a repaired, glued together, or renovated version of your old self. You are a brand new species of being, one who has been born from above, one who has been created in the very likeness of my Son, one who has been infused with my own eternal resurrection life by my Spirit. To be a new creation means that your fundamental nature, your spiritual DNA, has been completely and irreversibly changed forever. And for so long, you have worn the heavy, dark cloak of unworthy. You have felt that you have no right to approach a holy God. You have felt you have no right to ask for or to receive my blessings. You have approached my throne with the cowering posture of a beggar who is hoping for a few scraps from the master's table. But I have taken that filthy garment of unworthiness from you. I have burned it in the holy fire of my grace, and in its place, I have clothed you in a new and brilliant robe. Your new name is righteous. This does not mean that you are, in yourself, perfect in all your actions. It means that your legal standing before me is now perfect, forever. For you have been clothed in the pure, unblemished, and perfect righteousness of my own Son. When I, the holy judge, look at you, I do not see the stain of your sin. I see the perfect record of his obedience. To be called righteous means that you now have, at all times, a bold, confident, and joyful access to my throne of grace. You are no longer a beggar at the gate. You are a beloved child at the family table. These, my child, are your new names, redeemed, beloved, new creation, righteous. This is your true, eternal, and multifaceted identity. But it is not enough for me to simply give you these names. You must now learn them. You must receive them. You must meditate on them until they become more real to you than the old, painful names you have carried for so long. The battle for your new beginning will be fought and won on the field of your identity. When the accuser comes to you and calls you by your old name, failure, you must not argue with him. You must simply answer back with your new name. No, my name is redeemed. When your own heart, in a moment of loneliness, whispers your old name, unloved, you must declare the truth of your new name. No, my name is beloved. When you stumble and your feelings tell you that you are still just the same old broken person, you must stand on the authority of my word and declare your new name. No, I am a new creation. When a spirit of condemnation tries to clothe you once again in an old, heavy garment of unworthy, you must refuse it and say, no, my name is righteous, and I am clothed in the perfection of the Lamb. You must learn to live up to the new name I have given you. You must begin to think, to speak, and to act like the person you now truly are. Your old names were temporary and fraudulent labels written in the dust of your earthly experience, destined to be blown away by the wind of my spirit. But your new names have been carved with the nails of the cross into the very palms of my hands. They are eternal. They are indestructible. They are your true and unchanging reality. This is who you are. In this new beginning that starts now, welcome to your new self. You have heard my divine and sovereign declaration. Your new beginning starts now. You have been freed from the prison of your past, and you have been given a new and glorious identity, a new name, redeemed, beloved, new creation, righteous in my sight. This is your new and eternal reality. But an identity is not just something you are to believe. It is something you must now learn to live out. A prisoner who has been set free must learn how to walk as a free person. And so, you must now learn how to take your first, tentative steps out of the old, familiar country of your past and into the new and undiscovered territory of your future. We must now speak of how you are to walk forward and not look back. I know that this is not an easy thing to do. The gravitational pull of your past is strong. The familiar landscape of your old sorrows and your old struggles, as painful as it was, is known territory. There will be a powerful and subtle temptation to keep looking back over your shoulder, to reminisce about the old life, even the miserable parts of it. The enemy of your soul, your old jailer, will try to entice you. He will whisper to you that the bland but predictable onions and garlic of your slavery in Egypt were better than the unknown and sometimes frightening journey toward your promised land. You must be prepared for this temptation to look back. For a new journey of 1,000 miles begins not with a great leap, but with a single, simple step. Your new beginning does not require you to have the entire map of your future figured out. It does not require you to feel strong enough to run a marathon tomorrow. It simply requires you to take the first, small, obedient step today in the right direction. The power is not in the size of the step, but in the direction of it. The direction is forward. So how do you take these first steps? These are your practical instructions for walking forward and not looking back. First, you must learn the holy discipline of forgetting what is behind. My Apostle Paul, who had a past filled with more regret than most, discovered this powerful secret. He said, "Forgetting what is behind and straining toward what is ahead, I press on toward the goal." This forgetting is not a passive loss of memory. Your mind will still remember the facts of your past. No, this is an active, disciplined, and often strenuous choice. It is the conscious refusal to dwell on, to meditate on, to replay, and to relive the failures and the pains of your past. When a memory of your old self, a past sin, a foolish mistake, a painful rejection rises up in your mind, you are to practice a new spiritual reflex. You are to acknowledge the thought, and then you are to intentionally, as an act of your will, turn your mind away from it and toward the promise of your future. You must starve the old memories by refusing to give them your attention. And you must feed the new vision I have for you by meditating on my promises. You must refuse to allow your mind to be a museum of your past failures. Instead, you must make it a garden where the seeds of your hopeful future are being watered. Second, your new beginning will be built one new choice at a time. Today and every day, you will be faced with situations that in the past would have triggered an old, familiar, and destructive reaction. In those moments, you are standing at a holy crossroad. You have a sacred opportunity. You can choose to react in the old way, strengthening the old neural pathway of fear, of anger, of shame, of self-pity. Or you can pause. You can remember your new name and your new identity in me, and you can make a new choice. Perhaps it is the choice to forgive someone when your old self would have held a grudge. Perhaps it is the choice to speak a word of kindness when your old self would have responded with sharp sarcasm. Perhaps it is the choice to trust me in a small matter when your old self would have given in to anxiety. Each one of these small, new choices is like a single, solid stone being laid in the foundation of your new life, and over time, these small choices will build a mighty and beautiful structure of new habits and a new character. Your new beginning is not a single, dramatic event. It is the accumulation of 1,000 small, obedient choices. Third, you must learn the discipline of following the cloud. When I led my children out of their slavery in Egypt and into their own new beginning, I did not give them a 10-year plan or a detailed map. I gave them something far better. I gave them my presence. I gave them a pillar of cloud to follow by day and a pillar of fire to follow by night. Their only job was to keep their eyes on the cloud. When the cloud moved, they moved. When the cloud stopped, they stopped. They only had to focus on the next step, trusting that I, their guide, knew the final destination. This is how you must now learn to live. You must let go of your anxious need to have your entire future mapped out and under your control. Your job is to simply keep your eyes on me. It is to look for the cloud of my Spirit's leading. One day at a time, I will not lead you astray. I may not show you the whole staircase, but I promise you, I will always give you just enough light for the very next step you need to take. Right now, you must learn to walk in daily, moment by moment dependence on my guidance. And fourth, you must begin the joyful discipline of creating new memorials. For too long, the landscape of your mind has been filled with the dark and sorrowful memorials you have built to your past failures. I am now calling you to become a builder of new memorials. Every time you see my goodness in your life, every time I am faithful to a small promise, every time you, by my grace, successfully make a new and holy choice, you must create a memorial to that victory. You can do this by writing it down in a journal, which you can read back in times of doubt. You can do this by telling a trusted friend, giving a verbal testimony to my goodness. You can create a stone of remembrance in your heart, a conscious decision to treasure and remember that specific moment of my grace. Over time, as you practice this, you will build a new and beautiful landscape in your mind, a landscape that is filled not with the gray monuments of your past failures, but with the shining, golden memorials to my faithfulness. And these new memorials will give you great strength and great hope for the journey ahead. I know, my child, that you will not do this perfectly. There will be days when you look back. There will be moments when you stumble and fall back into an old, familiar reaction. In those moments, do not be discouraged. Do not listen to the accuser's voice when he tells you that your new beginning has been forfeited. This is not a system of law where one mistake leads to condemnation. This is a journey of grace, and my grace is greater than all your stumbles. When you fall, I will not be there with a word of judgment. I will be right there to gently pick you up, to dust you off, to remind you of your new name, and to set you back on the path, walking forward once again. And so, my beloved, we begin our walk together into your new beginning. It is a journey that starts now, in this very moment. You do not need to feel strong. You do not need to feel ready. You only need to be willing. You only need to take this first small step with me, The past, with all its pain and its prisons, is now behind you, a closed and finished story. The future, with all its hope and its promise, is before you, a beautiful and unwritten book. And I am here, holding the pen. Let us not worry about the destination. Let us not be anxious about the challenges that may lie on the path ahead. Let us simply enjoy the journey together. The great joy is not in the arrival, it is in the walk, the daily, conscious, hand-in-hand companionship with me, your Father, your Redeemer, your friend, and the loving author of your new story. We have begun, my child, and we will not turn back. The new beginning starts now.